Okay, so we're live now. So yeah, this is just a general commentary for the poet with input. So yeah, we're live now. So if you need to share the link and anything like that, just feel free to go ahead while we gather people.
Sounds good. Let's see.
And if you're watching this not live, just feel free to skip ahead a few minutes if needed.
And if you're not watching it live, feel free to leave a comment down below and ask your questions in the comment section if you have any.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Derek. Derek's on. Derek is one of the other voice actors. He's watching it on YouTube at the moment.
Awesome. What's up, Derek? I gotta say, man, I like what you got going on with this little poet thing. It's interesting, like when you record the lines, you know.
Yeah.
You're not seeing what you're recording. Like you have an idea in your head, but then when it actually comes out, you're kind of like, oh, okay, you know.
Yeah, I've noticed that with projects that I've been in, because I rarely voice act. I rarely voice act. Like I always do the project stuff. So when I hear my voice, unless it's in my own project, but when I hear my voice in other people's projects, I almost forget like I'm in it. And then when I do hear myself, because I'm not used to it, it sounds so weird to me. It sounds so alien. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like, if I hear some lines, like in some of my lines in other people's projects, I'm kind of like, oh man, that could have been better.
I had it in. I think it was. Who was it now? It was. I think it was. I don't know. I can't remember. It was ages ago, but there was a voice actor who was in one of my projects, and I said like, "Oh, what do you think?" And he said, "I liked it. It was just so weird hearing myself." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." Yeah, it's just a crazy thing.
Yeah, and I know. What's up, Fun Time Edits? What's up, man? Yeah, I know. You asked me to be part of this a while back, and I recorded lines for you. Gosh, I don't even know. Like pre-pandemic, I think, right? And I think in this you use some of the older lines that I recorded, and then with some of the newer lines that you asked me to re-record, right?
I thought I used all the new ones, unless it just merged into one file. But I know I asked you to record the lines, and then what I did, because basically what I did with a lot of my expanded universes was I wrote loads. So I wrote the poet, I wrote the Lost Training Cup training exercises. We are here, we are waiting, bound to until I wrote a lot of expanded universes, and some of them I do have lines in for, and literally like a year and a half later, 2 years later, because sometimes that's how long it takes, at least for me, to sometimes see a project from an idea to finish it. Mainly because I did End of Days, which basically took a year, and I basically put all of the projects on the sideline for a year and a half. But when I finally came back to rereading the scripts, I kind of thought, oh, that line doesn't sound right, or no, that needs to change. And then there was other changes as well, like for example in one or two projects some voice actors had to leave, whether that was for their own choice, which is fine. I totally understand that and respect that. So when like you have wrote a project and the line's different, the actors and the actresses are totally different, and then when you go back over it later on and you still haven't finish the project, you're not filmed it, but it's still on the piece of paper, you can still change like the lines, you can still change the voice actors.
Right. It's kind of what I find myself doing too. I've got binders of stories written, like scripts and stories that I want to bring to life, but finding the time is hard. I mean, it's hard to find the time with the projects that I've got going on.
Yeah.
And trying to bring some of the other ones to life, man. Like, um, just like I said, just it just gets difficult. So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I think for me, like I spoke to Derek about this before. He's still watching, I think. But I spoke to Derek. Like for me, I'll get an idea about something, and I'll write about half of it because I'll be so passionate, and then I'll get an idea about another project, so I'll write about half of that, and then I'll get another idea, and I just have like loads of like half-written scripts. So I have to go back and finish them eventually. And then obviously by the time I go back around, I'm like, oh no, I forgot what I was actually how I was gonna wrap this up, or what I was gonna do. But it comes in phases. Like sometimes certain project, like first stand of the wreckers, that's taken ages because I want to get that right. But there'll be certain times, especially with that project, where I'll I'll write it, get really motivated. Like I said, I'll find a different project, but I keep coming back in the same circle. I'll get passionate about one, then the next, and I'll go back to the circle for the first one. And I think it's just probably about writing it when you feel that passion.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Because there are times where I'll have an ending set up, and then something will happen, or like I'll just be running in the morning or something, and then an idea hits me, and then I'm like, oh, that's a better ending. Oh, I'm glad I didn't film the ending yet, or I didn't send lines out yet, or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I've had that before as well.
What's up, Michael C? What's going on, man? And Derek, the best swerve in the business, man. So,
Michael C asks, what happened to Hot Rod? I'm guessing you mean from the end of days. It's I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's funny that here's a hint. It's funny how you mentioned Hot Rod when we're talking about the poet. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a weird coincidence that, but what happened to Hot Rod? That's gonna be explained in part 2 of the End of Days. I'm hoping to start filming it very soon. Actually, I've done a lot of expanded universes lately just to kind of focus on little things, because when you do like a big project, I don't know if you've had this input, but when you've had like a project that's taken like a year or 6 months, and then you finish it and it's really long and it's really good, but you've got one project to show, you know, despite how big it is. But when you do like expanded universes, you know, you can get one done within a week, so you could have like 25, 30 installments in a year, as opposed to one. And I think that's just what I'm doing at the moment. I'm trying to get a lot of the story out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can definitely see that. And what's really fascinating is what I think is really cool for animators in general is, you know, they start a story and then they finish the story, and if it takes like a year or so, like whatever it is, you can kind of see their skills develop as well as an animator.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
And as a director and as like a writer, you know, they're getting better as they go. So it's not only the evolution of the story, it's the evolution of the skill you get to see in those. And that's what I enjoy as well.
Yeah, I think as well, like just before I start as well, like a lot of changes happen last minute. So with the poet, I don't think I told you this, but as you watch it, obviously it's Sky-byte's on a rock, like a little mini rock island, and there's like he's on an alien world, and the ocean's all around him. Originally, it wasn't actually going to be an ocean. It was going to literally be a rocky planet, kind of like I don't want to say like Tatooine, but like just imagine like a really rocky planet, like a just deserted planet. So they weren't going to be in water at all. It was literally going to be Sky-byte on a rock. And that's kind of where Sky-byte's like, will someone get me off of this rock? Like, that's kind of where it came from. And then last minute, literally as I was editing, I was thinking, why am I messing about, like, putting mountains and stuff in the background when, you know, the Shark Khan is probably, you know, more of a water-based creature than someone who's going to go to a plain, rocky, deserted planet. So that's where the idea came for water.
And I thought, you know, when you sent me the lines, I kind of had this, when I was reading the lines, I kind of pictured him underground, kind of trapped, and his only way out was like a hole in the ceiling, like in the wall, or up above him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, just so like if you think of like if you're laying on your back in a volcano kind of thing, right? And you just got this, it's hundreds of miles high, and then you got this hole in the ceiling that you can't reach.
That'd make much more sense of like Shakespeare, because he'd like little light coming through the top hole, be like spotlight for him, boost his ego a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, the main reason with that as well is because, I mean, Sky-byte's a shark, and he can fly, kind of like he does in Robots in Disguise, where he kind of like swims about in the air. So he can fly, but for Sky-byte, I mean, we've seen what happens if Transformers kind of just fly off into space. They kind of like just run out of energy and just go into stasis and never found. So Sky-byte's kind of just on a planet. So although he can fly away, well, firstly, he's being dramatic because he wants someone to come and save him, kind of like they do in all stories. Someone comes to rescue someone who's stranded. So in one way, Sky-byte's being very dramatic and kind of selfish almost, but the other way, he's doing it like survival. That he's trying to preserve his energy by not like flying it, to different planets or solar systems. Right.
And that's kind of the thing too. When you're writing, you got to kind of like Sky-byte can fly, right? So you got to kind of think around that. Well, why? If he's in this hole in the ground, why didn't he just fly out? So you got to kind of write the solutions to the problems before anybody can ask the questions.
Yeah, that's one thing I like to do with character development as well. Is like, especially in fights, it's like, why aren't they doing this or why aren't they doing that? But yeah, Derek has asked, what is a great story you haven't been able to tell yet? There's a lot actually. Mainly the ones with Breakaway. So I really want to tell We Are Here, We Are Waiting, and just those sort of stories with him, like I forgot what it's called now. Civil disputes. Those ones. What about you, Emport? Is there any that you haven't been able to tell yet?
Like I said, dude, I got a binder full of stuff. But the one that I've really wanted to do was the Transformers Alchemist, and I did a little teaser trailer for episode 1. Oh, and yeah. And I needed one figure, and I thought to myself, I said, well, I can do the teaser trailer, and I'll buy the figure, and then in like a week or 2 weeks, whatever it takes to get here, I'll be able to film it, no problems. And the figure got lost in the mail, and so I'm like, well, that's perfect. And then just from all of that, other projects have I started sending out lines. I started getting lines back. I started getting stuff for season 5's continuation, right? So now Alchemist is kind of pushed back onto the back burner, and I started doing a sequel series to Deep Cover called Yellow Jacket, and so it's now Alchemist is, like I said, it's pushed further down the list. So, which is I was really looking forward to telling the story, and I still am. I think it's a really captivating story, but that's not for me to decide that, right?
I think sometimes, like, when stuff like that happens, it is kind of helpful to have a project to fall back on. Sometimes to keep you, not necessarily like the content going, but like sometimes it's a good chance to focus on something else. Like it forces you to do something else.
And the funny thing is, Alchemist was supposed to be my fallback story for Yellow Jacket.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, so I was gonna work on Alchemist in between Yellow Jacket stories, and because Alchemist has 2 voice actors in it. It's basically me and Ultra Marcus, and that's it. And Ultra Marcus, now this isn't a dig at anybody, but Ultra Marcus gets his lines back to me really, really quickly.
Yeah,
That's
good.
I mean, with like in a day, and so it's only supposed to be me and him working on it, and he's only in episode 1. I think he only had like 6 lines or something. So, but because of, like I said, because of the figure getting lost in the mail and everything, now Alchemist isn't the backup anything anymore. Season 5 has become the backup for Yellow Jacket, and vice versa.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is. It really is.
We got one more question from Derek, and then I guess if you want, we can start the episode. We always get sidetracked. Like, me and Derek have this problem all the time. Like, we just start talking, we go on for ages. How important is the score compared to something like lighting, like lighting or props, to see a tone more in the scene? I think score, like soundtrack, I think no matter how well it's filmed, the animated score is like the thing that's going to give it the feel. Like you can, I had it in End of Days, like for the space scene, I'm not even kidding, I had about 4, 5, maybe even 6 different songs that I could have used, and I could not decide which one was going to be used. And then other parts in the film, I didn't know what to use. But specifically, there was the space battle where, like I said, a specific thing, it was... I had several different songs I could have chose. And they all... The weird thing is they all give it a different feel. One of them gave it a feel of hope. One of it gave a feeling of lost. One was just like badass action music, which you can't go wrong with, but... Generally, I think soundtrack is the best. Lighting, I think lighting's good, but you can probably fix that in post-production depending on how you want to go. I really like props personally. Like I like a scene, and I like to see how a scene is like in front of me, so I can like see the entire thing. Although green screen's really good, I think for me I'm more of a physical person. What about you, Input?
I agree. I'd rather have like a physical set instead of a green screen. But I think space is limited for so many of us. We don't have a garage to film in, or a stop motion room with the 40-foot table in it or anything, right? So I think that, but I will say, I think lighting sets a mood extremely well. I think music, sets a tone really well. And I think they kind of go hand in hand. I think, if you watch my, I think people get and I'm not meaning to plug my channel or anything like that, but like, I did a teaser trailer for Transformers Seekers MIA, or MIA Seekers, and I used Megadeth's Latu Amon, the remake from 2004 with the chick from Lacuna Coil, and I just made the background all black, and it was just this really dark, and it was set in like shadows, and really the only lighting was Acid Storm's eyes.
Oh wow.
And I think, and it hit so good. But I had the scene in mind already, how I wanted it to play out. And the music for me was, I was going through mental checks of like, okay, I want to use this song. Does it work? And no, it didn't work. Or this section of a song, does that work? No, it doesn't work. So then I got to Megadeth's Latunamon, and it was like, oh, that hits. That's perfect, And I try to, as far as music goes, I try to make things from the music that has things to do with the music, whether it's lyrics or the music video or something like that, kind of tie into the story that I'm trying to tell. Like if you look at Mudvayne, I use Mudvayne's Happy in the season finale or the series finale for Deep Cover for the final fight scene. And the song is a fight song. You know, it's a metal song that gets you pumped up, and
Yeah.
but the lyrics, you know, are very very contrast to that song. And basically, you know, everything you've done doesn't make you happy now. And with that in mind, if you just read the lyrics for Happy and then watch that scene, it sets a different tone as well. So I think lighting, I think it all goes hand in hand with each other. But you can't honestly, but you can't go wrong with an awesome song with a bunch of explosions to get people hyped up. You know?
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Do you have anything else to add while before we start? We're like 20 minutes in, but I apologize.
No, man, you're good. Let's get this ball rolling. Let's do it.
Awesome. All right. Again, if there's any issue with the audio, I mean, we're gonna have it really low anyway. But if you can't see anything or like that, just let me know. Just wait for it to load.
Infinity.
I'm not sure if I'll be able to see the YouTube thing, but I'll get it up on my phone and I will hopefully stay up to date with the comments that are coming in. All right, ready.
Those who inspire us, we become.
I like that dude up from the water, man. That's a nice touch. It's a nice
Thanks.
touch.
It was actually a bit annoying to do. This opening shot as well, where it like waves side to side. It looks weird, I'll admit. But I was actually trying to get like a rocking boat effect. So you know when you're on a boat and it tips side to side, it's not straight. That's what I was trying to get, like it goes side to side a bit.
No, I got that. I got that as soon as I watched it. I was like, okay, I see what he's doing
good.
there. Yeah.
Let's scan the universe for some.
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Right? Like.
Who is all dark of the cusp?
Did you make that screen effect on his arm, or was that something you found?
No, with the effects on Footage Crate, they have loads of good stuff.
Okay. I'll have to find it myself. I use Footage Crate myself.
Everything you see on here, apart from Sky-byte and the rock is sat on, is all from Footage Crate. So there's that graphics crate that has all the stones and rocks and the planet rings. Then like Footage Crate, they're all the same website, but they handle different things. Some of the sound effects from Footage Crate, and the waves and whatever.
This guy can't make up his mind either.
Do you pay for your Footage Crate, or are you using all the free stuff on there?
I have to pay. So I used to do it all free. Pop, you can only download in standard definition, and you only get 5 downloads a day. So like, I remember back in the early days of End of Days, I would do like a massive scene, and I could only get 5 a day. So that's one reason why it took ages to do. Whereas when you pay, you get like the 4K, 8K versions. And I think it's a year subscription, and you get like 50 downloads per day. So
yeah, and the year's only like $50, right? So it's pretty cheap.
Something like that, yeah. It's good.
Especially if you're doing stuff like what we do with stop motion and animation and everything.
Yeah. I knew I was going to get laughs about that, but I had to put it in there. I tried to make it like a funny episode, but like instantly it just turns dark.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely see that.
And these, just for story-wise, this takes place before Space Chase. So you get like all these guys capturing Sky-byte, and then they go for Swerve and Hound and Axor later.
Really crispy.
But Kortok, who you voiced there, the blue one,
Yep.
and Garnak, they're both in Space Chase. The one on the right is a new one, voiced by Housen Gottfried, called Falcon, who is actually a little bit background information, is an android or cyborg. So he's like part organic, and flesh, and part cyborg.
That's a Deathstroke figure, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, so Kortok is a Halo 4 spy, and Garnak is a Halo 3 ODST brute, and yeah, he's Deathstroke.
Not in trouble.
That episode seems to have gone like weirdly fast. Like, faster than it does when I watch it. It just seems like I've said one thing and it's over.
Okay, bye everybody.
I also have sorry,
I like this ending right here with just kind of focusing on the planets and everything. Kind of honestly, the reason why I like it so much is because I love world building and I love vastness, you know, and it kind of makes the characters feel so small and insignificant. How you just kind of focused on the planets and the moons and everything here. It really sets up the universe to be bigger than what it is.
One thing, I'll tell you the reason why I did this, and I did it with Space Chase because it worked out really well there, so I did it here with like the ambience where you just kind of like watching, like at the end of Space Chase when we're just watching Swerve on the floor, and it gets dark and the acid rain comes in and the storm starts. Here, basically, what I did with all the planets, what you just saw, basically when the spaceship comes and we have that view of sky-byte looking up at it, that was going to be the big shot with all the planets in the background, all space, and it was going to be like a UFO circling round, and the light blinding him. Mm-hmm. But when I got to it in post-production, the light was too big, because what I wanted the UFO and the light to like blind it out with space in the background, all the planets. But the way the shot worked out, it covered all of the background, like all the planets, all space, everything. So I did all the work, and then you just couldn't see it. So I was like, "Oh no, that's a beautiful shot gone." So I was like, the only way you see it is when they fly away with the spaceship at the end and they disappear. And I'm like, that's only about a 5-second shot. I'm like, I don't want all that to go to waste. So
right.
I just zoomed in, and then for the first half of the credits, and then the rolling credits went back to the surface. Yeah, like this shot. Where is it? Because all we see throughout the episode is like this bit in the background. Where is it? They're here. Oh, damn it. But this shot coming up there. So basically, my original intention was have like a UFO here with that light blinded him. But for whatever reason, I just didn't think that it would blind the whole screen. And yeah, that happens. So,
but that works though. I think it works really because from his perspective, I mean, you know, we're looking at it essentially a POV shot, and you're seeing what he sees, and that's. You know, that's kind of what you want to do at that point, I feel like, you know?
All the planets there, though, they're all there. Like, you can't see them, but I just kind of wanted to add it in for the extra detail. But basically, behind this light is the UFO. And in this corner, if I play, you'll actually see the UFO spinning. There, you can see it spinning there. But behind this is the UFO. Behind the UFO, you've got the planet ring here. You've got all planets, space, the moon. So you do have all that stuff in this shot, it's just you can't see it. But yeah.
That's a DVD extra.
It is a DVD extra. But yeah, it was quite a nice one to make because, like I said, I think when you make a big project, sometimes you just need that smaller one just so you can just see it come to fruition quicker.
Yeah. I get that. So what do you got next up on the? What's next on the chopping block for you, man?
So I've got Bounty Hunter coming out maybe tomorrow or Sunday. That, oh my gosh, that had so many things wrong with it. So basically, I think my computer went in for repair like twice during the production of Bounty Hunter. I was ill during the production at the start of the year. Basically, I started it and everything that you can imagine going wrong went wrong. Then the footage went corrupt pretty much, near enough. Then my computer was just dying. I know, and it was like I'm not even kidding, it's the most simplest stop motion I had ever done. So my computer does end of days and it almost kills my computer, but it survives. My computer pushes through. I put Bounty Hunter on, the most simplest one I've ever done, and it just kills my computer. So yeah, but Bounty Hunter's coming up. I've got Partners coming up, which Derek is actually in. He stars as Tailgate. I've got a few other ones that I want to get done that I filmed like a year ago, but again, they got delayed from End of Days. That will be the Velostronian Cup and just a few other expanding universes, small ones here and there.
Okay. So, and
yourself?
Do what?
How about yourself?
Well, I've got season 5, Transformers season 5 continuing. And if you guys don't know, it's a G1 continuation. It takes place after season 4. I've got Yellow Jacket coming up, which is going to be another short little mini series. Probably going to be, so far I'm aiming for like 7 episodes, kind of the same way that I did with Deep Cover. But we'll definitely see. It's the start of my own universe, if that makes sense, right? My own Transformers universe, Deep Cover was. And so, that's going to keep going. And Alchemist, whenever that happens, that happens. So that's what I got. So
I think that's the best thing about like your own series, though. Like, you can really tell it how you want it to be told.
Yeah.
And like as great as the official Transformers series are in the films, like, I love them all. But I think with your own series, you can just tell it how you want it to be told. And Thirsty Doggo, Derek, yeah, I think my dog was drinking in the background. I think your dog was in the background as well.
Yeah,
both our dogs have just joined
whining.
us. Yeah, mine was drinking.
Yeah. Like, my mom dropped her dog off, and my dog, and they play, and they get loud when they play. But every now and then, whenever they come in, they whine, and that means they want food. They're hungry. So it's like they played all morning, and now they're ready for lunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, did you have anything you wanted to add with the episode, or any questions or anything like that, or?
No, man. But I will say this: if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to Transformers Fan 5000, why aren't you? Just click the subscribe button. Just do it. It's simple.
And Input as well. I'll link his channel in the description below.
I appreciate that, man. But
We'll
yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No,
there
go
you
ahead.
go. Me and Derek have this problem all the time. Like, we always interrupt each other. But you go, I insist.
Well, I was gonna say, and I just wanted to give another shout out to the best swerve in the business, Mr. Derek, right there. So, like, underrated, man, underrated. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I remember when I heard Derek in your series, I was like, wait, is that Derek? Because it's strange. Even though he told me he was in, when I heard him, I was like, Derek's in this? It's like all the other voice actors that are in my series, they'll tell me like, oh, I'm in this series. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. I'll watch it when I come out. But for some reason, when I watch it, even though I know they're in it, whenever they appear, I'm like, wait, hang on, is that them?
I'm not gonna lie. Look, man, I was trying to find a swerve for a long time for Deep Cover, just for the 4 lines, whatever it was for that episode for Swerve. And people were sending me tryouts, and I was like, that's not quite right, you know. And I was thinking like, you know, I was wanting IDW, right?
Oh yeah.
And I wanted him to kind of sound like IDW, like, you know, because IDW, they write him and he sounds a certain way when they write him, right? And I was like, oh yeah, man, just, you know, send me your Swerve tryouts and da da. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, that's Swerve done. Like instantly, he got 2 words out, and I didn't. I was like, yep, that's it, Swerve.
I know it's yeah, like I know I'm Swerve in Space Chase, and I think it's good how like each universe is different. Like you've got the IDW Swerve, then you've got like the G1 Swerve who he doesn't. I think he had like one scene, like he doesn't even do anything. And then you've got like the movie Swerve. Like it's good how you all have the different variations. And yeah, don't know if you can see what Derek just said, but me and him watched a project he was in the other day as Batman, and we was watching it, and I said to Derek like, it's weird because I would never have pictured you as Batman, but your voice suits Batman. Like it's so strange. And now he's blushing. Now he's blushing.
Well, I gotta say, I didn't think sparkly vampire could play Batman, but he looks pretty decent in the suit, right? So, it kind of goes to show what I don't know. You let people broaden their horizons, is what I'm trying to say, and you know they'll surprise you. So,
it's like a new take on characters as well. So, I think a lot of time when people are like, "Oh, I'm afraid to change this character," or "I'm afraid the studio is going to ruin this character because they're making him completely different." I think sometimes that's the best decision that
I mean, I made Huffer the leader of the Wreckers in Deep Cover. I don't think you can get any further removed from what Huffer is supposed to be than that.
No.
You know, and people love it. So if there's something like that, just do it, man. It's your story. Who cares if, you know, who cares if Optimus Prime is a psychotic serial killer or Cup is a you know, like a wife beater or what? You know what I mean? Like, it's your story, right? So like, take it as far in any direction character wise that you want to take it, because I kind of find, you know, when people keep telling a different story with the same characters, right? It kind of feels, it does kind of get a little old and worn out at times, you know? So yeah, like I said, just expand the characters and it's your story, you know?
See, that's the thing, like, I watched a really good stop motion, that, I can't remember the name, I'm trying to search for it now, but, Warzone, that was it, Transformers Warzone. I've not watched all the series, but I've seen quite a bit of it, and it's really good. Like Optimus is very different in that series. That's a stop motion series on YouTube. That's very good. And characters in my series, some of them won't, you know, they're directly what they are in some media. Other ones start as who they are and they'll become different. Others are just completely different. But I mean, look at like, I don't know if you watch Cyberverse, but like look at Cyberverse. That did so many different things, and it's like made one of the most unique series ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And my favorite thing about Cyberverse, I haven't finished it, but I saw the designs for Swoop, and I think that's the coolest thing in the world, you know, because Swoop, you know, a pterodactyl pterodactyl or pteranodon was a massive creature in, you know, time, you know, wingspan, all that stuff. He was massive, but he was, you know, a pteranodon was still small comparative, you know. But so to make Swoop a female character and be smaller than the other Dinobots, I was like, that's awesome, because females are traditionally smaller than males, but she's still a badass in her own right in that show, right? So I thought it was a really cool, you know, step away from normality.
Yeah, you know, there's 2 points that kind of raises quickly. That firstly, I think Swoop and Grimlock are the only Dinobots who've ever really gone through like loads of change. Like I think Grimlock gone through a lot of mental change, where he started as this dumb character, Then in the Marvel comics, he became like quite intelligent. And then like in RID, he's he's not massively smart, but he's not actually dumb. War for Cybertron, he's actually Fall of Cybertron series. He's he's quite intelligent. And then like Cyberverse is quite intelligent. And Swoop, sorry, has gone through so many changes. Like there was Swoop, then they changed their name to Strafe, became a two-headed pterodactyl. Then they've gone to Swoop again, but changed them to female. And it makes me wonder, like, if females are meant to be smaller than males, like, I think in like Beast Wars, like maybe Black Arachnia should be bigger than Tarantulas. Like maybe Tarantulas should be smaller. Although he's a Tarantulas, but like female spiders are typically like bigger than the male spiders and stronger. So that'd be quite an interesting take in like something like Beast Wars, where the female of the species are larger than the males.
Yeah, but I think Beast Wars is a special case because Tarantulas in spider mode, he's like an 8-foot long spider, right? So he's he's a lot bigger than traditionally a spider would be. But no, but I like that idea. I like what you're going with. It'd definitely be really interesting to see, a Black Arachnia 12 foot tall compared to Tarantulas being 8 foot tall.
It'd be like having Transformers animated Black Arachnia, like in Beast Wars.
Right?
Oh, that's crazy. I always find it weird, like the Beast Wars, like how I remember when I first found out that they were smaller. Like I was really young when I first watched Beast Wars, and when I saw that they were smaller, I think with Beast Machines actually, when I watched Beast Machines, and then I found out that the regular Transformers, like Optimus, Megatron, were like giants, and they were like human size. And I've always found it weird how like I'd walk around my house and I'd think Optimus Primal could walk through this door.
Yeah,
that's where my younger self went.
Yeah, that was real surprising to me too. And then when I was, seeing that was like, whoa! Especially when when the G1 bots showed up, it was like, okay, because I think when you see them with the cavemen, you're kind of like, okay, they are human size, and it doesn't really sink in until you see them in season 3 when they're standing next to Megatron and Prime and stuff, and then that's really starts to hit you. You're like, whoa, okay, they could walk through my front door.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I've always found it weird, like G1 scale was odd, but yeah, just I think sometimes like you just don't realize how big they are. Like sometimes I measure it like against like a house that I see, I'm like, oh, maybe Optimus would come to there on the house, or maybe the house would be smaller than him or whatever. But I think sometimes like some of the Transformers are like smaller than you think, and some are like massive and you wouldn't even think it.
Well, here's a mind-blowing fact for you that I don't think a lot of people realize. Optimal Optimus is as big as Optimus Prime.
Really? I thought he was about half the size.
No, he's as big as Optimus Prime. When you watch the show, and you pay attention to the scaling when he leans into Prime's head to give him back his spark and all that stuff, his head the same size, and when he's standing outside the Axelon and he's as tall as the Axelon, like when they're in the volcano and they're in the wrecked Axelon or whatever. Yeah, he's as big as Optimus Prime, and
go on.
I was just gonna say it's something they hid really well in the show. They didn't really draw attention to it or anything else, but they animated it for him to be that size. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I always just thought Optimus just had a massive head. To be honest, I thought he was about half the size, but just with a massive head. But yeah, I guess it makes sense with the Matrix and all that. But the thing is, though, like I watched Beast Machines before Beast Wars, like when I was younger. So how people see Optimal Optimus as like, well, Optimal Optimus, I don't see it like that. I just see him as a villain. Like in Beast Machines, like I every time I see Optimal Optimus, I don't see him as Optimus Primal. I'm just like, it's Megatron. It's
Yeah,
evil.
Megatron's final form, right?
Yeah, like I don't see him as that. I'm just like every time I see him, I'm just like, he's bad. Run away.
Right.
The thing about I haven't watched Beast Machines in a while, but I always feel like Megatron's so underpowered. Like not with his army, but I feel like if Beast Wars Megatron had a fight with Beast Machines Megatron, I feel like Beast Wars were just trash machines. Like, because he don't really do anything. He's very out of combat, and it kind of reminds me of Dark of the Moon Megatron. How he never gets in combat. He never, the only thing he does is raise his voice and command troops, and it just doesn't seem to show his power. I could be wrong, but yeah.
No, I get that because he's so obsessed with power by the end of his character arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got Cybertron at its fingertips.
Yeah, that's true. I love how this turn has gone from like a commentary into its own podcast.
Hey man, it happens. It happens. It happens. But I hate to cut and run, man. But my dogs are bothering me to eat.
No, that's cool. Mine on me as well. Yeah, it's mutual. But before you go, is there anything else you want to say or anything like that?
Subscribe to Transformer Fan 5000, the only man on YouTube that has been doing stop motion for. You celebrated 10 years recently, right?
Yeah. Oh no, it'll be 11 coming up in June. Yeah, 10 years.
The original Transformers stop motion animator on YouTube. Subscribe to Transformers Fan 5000.
And subscribe to Input, who is continuing season 5, which have waited like 37, 38. I forgot the math, but like 40 years to see. He is
something like that.
He
right?
is a writer who is going to give the ending that we all deserve.
And the plan for that is to go season 5 into 6 into 7 and kind of bring everything together all the way up to like Machine Wars. So
I can't wait.
It's a task. But it's gonna happen, man. It's happening.
Yeah, great things take time. But yeah, I won't take any more of your time up. Thank you, Input, for joining, and thank you for everyone who joined and who are watching it after the live.
Yep.
Thank you anyway. I'll end the broadcast now, but yeah, thank you. Subscribe to Input, check his channel out, link below, and till all are one.